Christmas Carol into Christmas Karma.
Yeah.
So like how tell me about the entire inspiration, and like you have taken inspiration from Christmas Carol and then you're imagining it into Christmas Karma. So bringing that all, tell me about it.
So in England, growing up in England, Christmas is a big holiday for us, just like Diwali is here.
Right.
And it's a time when everything closes and you have like a week holiday, and Christmas and New Year come together, and all families and friends, they get together and enjoy food and drink. And also it's a great time of charity in England. You know, people give toys to children in hospital. People help people who are homeless, the elderly people, people who are alone. People go out of their ways to make sure they're good at Christmas. So it's a lovely time of the year. And I wanted to make a holiday film that, you know, celebrated the holiday from my perspective. And there's a beautiful Christmas film called It's a Wonderful Life by Frank Capra, which is my favorite film. And I wanted to make a film that made me feel like that film makes me feel every Christmas. So that's why I took inspiration from Charles Dickens to make Christmas Karma. And also I felt in the climate of the world today, it was a good subject, because Charles Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol in 1843. And it was originally, he was writing a plea for poor people or the poor child, you know. And he was very concerned in Victorian England there was so much poverty and so much greed. And the gap between the rich and poor was huge. And so his book was to try and make people understand compassion and charity. And I felt that in today's world that was a really good message, and particularly when it comes to refugees, because that's so common in our world today. And sometimes people treat people who have had to leave their homes for no fault of their own, you know, treat them quite discompassionately. So I chose to tell this story of a man who had come to Britain as a refugee from Uganda in 1972, and how the trauma of that and his hostile reception had shaped him into a man that was deeply sad and unhappy, but loved money and thought money was the answer to everything. And so the film looks at how we can be happy in today's world, and is money the answer or not?
Right, very nice. So, like, also tell me, Priyanka Chopra, bringing Priyanka Chopra on the board, how it all started, why you thought of it, and of course, beyond why, how it was to bring her on the board.
Yes, so Last Christmas by George Michael is a big Christmas song, and I was having a meeting with his people, and they said to me, if you're making a Christmas film, Gurinder, why don't you use George Michael's song, put your own spin on it, do a Bollywood version, because George Michael would like that. And so then I just thought, wow, let me call my friend Priyanka. And I spoke to her, and she said, nice idea, but I'm not a singer anymore. I don't do that. And I said, come on, Yar, it'll be fun. It's for the end of my movie. It's such a fun thing. We're all singing along. We'll all be silly. And then she was in London, and she said, okay, to support you, Gurinder, just to support you, I'll come. So she came, we had a laugh, and then Anushka Shankar also came, and she played sitar on the track. And so we ended up with our Hindi version of big hit Last Christmas.
It's really nice, actually. When I was reading about it, I was like, wow. Yeah. So, also, I'd like to know how you have blended the British Christmas traditions with Indian culture. You know, Indian cultural textures, festivities, music influences, family dynamics, and emotional storytelling. So,
well, it's what I do. It's the same film, same person who made Bend It Like Beckham, Bride and Prejudice. It's the same approach. I use music, I use pop music, I use Bhangra music, I use kind of Hindi film music. I mix it all up, and the story for me has to be a very emotional story. So I show my lead character Scrooge. I show his struggles, but then I also celebrate after, when he feels redemption, when he realizes how he has to change in order to be happy. So for me, this is very similar to the films I've made in the past. Same sort of theme, the theme of the person who's part of the diaspora. That for me is what I find interesting. People who are, negotiating their different identities, coming from one country, living in another country, talking about the struggles, but also celebrating the successes. So I like to do that, and that's all what I've brought into this film.
Right. And I would also like to know, you have a deep connection with Bollywood as well. You have I would like to know about your close friendship in Bollywood. Like with, you have a very close associations. You have worked with, very good names in Bollywood. So if you could just share, how was about you talk about your bonding, and the collaborations and.
Well, I'm lucky that, people here in Hindi cinema, they appreciate what I do. I've known Gurinder Chadha for many years. Before he even directed, I knew him. And I've seen him grow and change, and I enjoyed his film Rocky and Rani a lot. Right. I also obviously had the pleasure of meeting Shah Rukh, and also Amir Khan. And obviously Anupam Kher was in Bend It Like Beckham. Mm. And there are many actors who I've met over the years and whose work I've appreciated. And, it's good to see how good, so many people are trying to do good work, good films, good roles. And I think that, I also know a lot of international Indians like Meera Nair and Deepa Mehta. And
good bond with Meera.
Good bond with Meera and Deepa.
You congratulated her after this?
Yes. We have our own WhatsApp group. Okay. And so we always support each other on that. Yeah. And now I've just wished Meera, she's just started shooting her new film on Amrita Shergill. Yeah. She's in Amritsar, so I wished her. Okay. It's important that we all support each other.
Right. Must be having, you have a very special bond with Aishwarya also. Yeah. If anything that you remember about.
Working with Aishwarya was fantastic. It was so exciting to make Bride and Prejudice, because I was making my own version of what I saw as Hindi cinema, but crossover. So it was fantastic to work with Aishwarya, but also Namrata and Meghna, all the other girls. I was with Pia, so we were a whole bunch of young actresses, and we were all together. Saroj Khan was there as our choreographer, and Santosh Sivan was the DP, and we had such a laugh. Honestly, it was amazing. We shot in Amritsar, we shot in LA, we shot in London, we shot in Goa, we shot in Bombay, in Mumbai. We built a set. We built Amritsar there. So the whole thing was like a super huge production. And to this day, people still talk about that film, and the songs are played in every wedding. Even I've been to weddings and people are playing the song. And working with Anu Malik ji was fantastic as well. It was a great experience.
If you have to make the sequel of the film, do you think you will be again taking Aishwarya, or whom do you think, if we talk about the actors of today, whom do you think you will be taking if you're making the sequel?
Who knows? It depends on their own fate. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, at the moment, I'm not planning on anything like that.
But I was just asking that way only.
Yeah. And I'm not going to answer because I'm not going to show favoritism.
But of course, that was an amazing movie. So,
Thank you. Yeah. Christmas Karma is also a musical.
Yeah.
So a lot of singing, a lot of dancing. We'll have a Christmas Bhangra song in there.
Oh, nice. So you have included some folk songs, dances from India also.
Yes, there's a Bhangra song, Christmas song.
Okay.
There's obviously a Aishwarya Rai song. And there's other dance. There's a hip-hop song.
Aishwarya Rai song as well.
Not Aishwarya, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Then also there's Priyanka Chopra's song as well.
Yeah, right.
But it's really a story about it's quite an Indian story. When Kamal, CEO of PVR, saw the film, afterwards he said to me, "It's a very Indian film
Right.
you've made, Gurinder. It's very Indian and very emotional." And he cried in the film. He loved it. So let's see. I didn't think it was. I thought it's a British film, but actually looking at it, is actually quite an Indian film. And Indian audiences, particularly in England, have been very moved by it, and people cry, as well as laugh.
Right.
So it's a very emotional film.
And also, the special part about your movies are, they are so much good in making the cross-cultural
Yes.
the thing, and also somewhere looking at the identity crisis and all these issues as well.
Yes.
So that is there in your movie. So
Yes.
that's really, that's what makes your movies, different.
Well, that's who I am, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
But I don't see it as a crisis.
Yeah.
I see it as constantly evolving identity. It's always changing. It's always shifting. And the most amazing thing right now, I think, is all over England, Great Britain, all over America, Australia, where we have young Indians, they are all, so many of them are going back to their own mother tongue through the music. They're all kind of creating new music with Punjabi songs or Hindi songs. And I think that's an amazing thing that I could not have predicted happening 25 years ago. So I think people are sort of appreciating and loving, their language, which I think is so important. अपनी भाषा बोलनी चाहिए है एंड मैनू बहुत अच्छा लगता है जब मैं पंजाबी च गल करदी हाँ फिर मेरे वास्ते ये पंजाबी लफ्ज़ पंजाबी लैंग्वेज सारा साडा कल्चर याद आ जाता है जब बोलते हैं असी पंजाबी एंड हिंदी भी सेम है ये भाषा ये हमारा लिंक है 5000 साल की हिस्ट्री है हमारी उसके भी पहला भी है सो ये लैंग्वेज के साथ हमारी साथ साथ हमारा अप्रिसिएशन है हमारी हेरिटेज का
Right, absolutely true. And that is very important actually, to stay connected to the roots always.
डेफिनेटली
Yeah.
हम बाहर रहते हैं मगर बाहर भी हम हमारा कल्चर को रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं और मिक्स करते हैं विद अदर कल्चर्स टू क्रिएट अ न्यू कल्चर एंड दैट्स व्हाट आई डू
You visit Punjab often, like if you come to India, you go to somewhere, like you try to move there or...
Punjab is in London, let me tell you. Punjab is in New York.
That is true.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, that is
Punjab
true.
is not
Then,
one
yeah,
place.
yeah, that is
Punjab, ayo, aage Punjabi ho. Diljit has shown, this.
Diljit
Has shown, even Gurdas Manji, Hansraj Hans, everyone that.
I think few Indian actors, like we talk about Priyanka Chopra, we talk about Diljit, they have taken, and many others also, like how they have taken India, like your movies and all, how, they are connecting.
Yes.
And taking the Indian cinema to the
Global level.
Yeah.
Yes, we're very proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Diljit, of course, he has a huge fan following.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love him.
Yeah. So I'd also like to talk about Bend It Like Beckham. It's an amazing movie and has been, of course, I would say it's a cultural phenomenon. So,
Yes.
Yeah, it's you are again revisiting the story. So if I ask you, it's a cultural phenomenon, but also I like to know about the sequel and how you are, incorporating the England women's team into it, how you're doing it, if you could just talk about it.
So Bend It Like Beckham was a film really about female empowerment.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. And I set it in the world of football because that wasn't a world where you would ever imagine an Indian girl. And so now, 23 years later, it's incredible how the impact of the film around the world, but also on the game of football for women. And every member of the England Lionesses team and American champions, they have gone on record to say they started playing football after watching Bend It Like Beckham. So we've had a massive impact, and I'm super proud of that, which is why I'm now looking at that story again and saying, so how can we further those themes, and how can we celebrate women and sport? So for me, I'm still working on the story, still figuring out what is the best way, but I'm definitely going to do something.
Yeah, and also the original film was a game changer for, of course, for women's football. What do you hope the sequel achieve in terms of, promoting and empowering, like if you talk about this with you?
Well, I think that whatever I do, I have to make sure that I continue that theme of empowerment, because I think it's still not okay for some girls to do what they want. And so I have to make sure that, people feel entertained and empowered. So that is my plan.
Right. Also, I'd like to know, as a British, Indian filmmaker, how do you balance your cultural heritage with the demands of the mainstream cinema, if you talk?
I think it's always a careful negotiation. When you write a script, you're always trying to write for different audiences. But at the end of the day, you can only be yourself. You can only write what you think is truthful and authentic and works for you. And sometimes it takes time for an audience to understand, and maybe they don't immediately get it. Maybe in the future they'll get it. But sometimes I feel like I just have to show culturally from my perspective what I see, what I think.
Yeah.
The good thing for me is that my films are studied in schools and colleges and university all over the world, and so whenever I make a film, I know people are going to really break it down and study. And what I'm doing is showing our history in England, particularly. I'm showing that immigrant history over the generations, and that becomes a historical record. And that, I think, is why the films have such impact, and in terms of studies, in terms of different colleges and students studying them. So I get requests all the time from students, who want to interview me because they're doing a paper on me or whatever. So this is why I do so much press, because I know the students sort of follow everything that I say.
Right. And if I ask you about, you have collaborated with so many big names, but in future, who are, I just want to know, who are those you want to work with? When you talk about your future projects in Bollywood,
Well, I'm not working in Bollywood. I'm working in British.
You can, of course.
Well, I think a lot of people want to work in international films too,
But, yeah.
So I think there's a lot of talent. I think there's a lot of people here who are super talented who could definitely cross over. And I think there are people also who love what they're doing here, in Hindi cinema. And I'm definitely talking to Priyanka about, a few projects, something that she likes, I like, and we have the same sensibility. And I think with other people, let's see, I think there's a lot of scope now. So I think after Christmas Karma, I received so much love from India and Indian journalists and just people wherever I go, that part of me feels like I would like to do something in India now,
Definitely,
And
actually we want.
so I'm feeling like But I need to think, what is that? Because I can't do the same as what people do here. I can do my version.
Right, of course. Christmas, when you talk about your current movie, the casting, everything, how you have worked on it, how where you all did the shooting and everything.
All London, mainly London. The film is set in London during Christmas time,
Yeah.
with all the Christmas lights and everything. But part of it we also shot in Africa.
Okay.
For when Scrooge is a little boy. So it's a very interesting story and an interesting part of Indian history, where Indians were taken by the British from India to Africa to develop Africa, because the British didn't want to do it with Africans. They said, we've already trained Indians to do it.
Yeah.
So they took Indians there. And then when Idi Amin in 1972 had a sort of conflict with Britain, and as a punishment he decided to ban all Indians from Uganda and gave them 90 days to leave. People who'd been there, their parents had been there, they'd helped build the country, they had to leave with nothing. And so many came as refugees to Britain.
Right.
So my story, my central story of my lead character, that's his backstory. And so it's great because a lot of people don't know about that history, don't know what happened.
So all the actors are from there only?
No. Actors are from America,
Yeah.
from England, from India.
Right.
It's a complete mix of actors.
mix
It's a
of
very
actors.
international film.
Yeah.
We have Kunal Nair,
Right.
who is from Delhi,
Yeah.
but lives in Los Angeles, as the main Scrooge character. We have Hugh Bonneville from Downton Abbey, and also played Mountbatten in my film Viceroy's House. We have Eva Longoria,
Okay.
Billy Porter, Boy George,
Right.
so many actors from different walks of life, but everyone knows the story of A Christmas Carol. So everyone sort of relates.
Everyone relates to that
Yeah,
story.
yeah. So everyone liked the script.
Are you also looking back and planning to do a sequel of Wickham House, and it's like amazing?
I loved Beecham House.
Yeah.
And the problem was I made it with an English TV company.
Yeah.
And after I did the first season, they didn't recommission it. Such a shame, because it was so good.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, like, if
Yeah, maybe we could get an Indian company. Let's get an Indian company to make it. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Then we could come back and make that as a great show.
yeah, that was a great show. That's why I was like,
Yeah, if an Indian company comes, I'll make it tomorrow.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's really. I will just go on to my last question only. I mean, like, looking back on your career, what are you most proud of, and what advice do you give to the aspiring filmmakers?
Well, in my life, what I'm most proud of is my children,
Yeah.
my twins. And so my advice is to women particularly, work hard to do what you want, but don't miss out on having children, because it enriches you as an artist and everything that you do. So I'm super happy that I've been able to make films and have a family life, but I've only been able to do that because I have such a lovely husband who's been so supportive of everything, so we're a proper team. But I think my advice really to people is, why do you want to be a filmmaker? Why do you want to tell stories? You have to be very clear. Why do you want to do it?
Right.
And what is it you have to say?
Right.
You have something good to say? Good.
Yeah.
Figure out what is your purpose
Right.
to tell stories. How can you do it so it's unique just to you?
Right.
That's what I think people will respond to, is that uniqueness.
Right. One thing I'd like to know more, like, how do you see Bollywood evolving over time, and what do you think it has, its impact on the global cinema?
I think that since more Hollywood cinema is available here on OTT platforms, films have started changing, but also more Indian films are available on OTT platforms as well. So I think it's mixed now. Audiences watching all kinds of different things, different genres. So I think that Hindi films are, so the stories are getting really good, and so that I hope continues. But I think people still want the big blockbuster Hindi films for sure. I think the smaller films, independent films, they're the ones suffering right now because people aren't going to the cinema, to support those films. And so unless they're on an OTT platform, those films don't get made. And so that right now, I think, is the tragedy for cinema, is that those smaller independent films don't have any way of being financed and recouping, because we've lost the cinema model now to people preferring to just stay at home to watch films. I mean, I hope people come out and see my film in the theatre on December 12th, because it's nice to see on a big screen and nice to be with other people who are all laughing and smiling at the same time. But definitely, I think the way we watch movies has changed. And so I do worry for the future of cinema itself, in the theatres. But I think we'll always be telling stories. There will always be ways of telling stories. And whether it's on television or streaming platforms or on phones or cinema, I think we will always need stories.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank
giving
you.